All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and get started with a few announcements. First, I should mention my name is Dewan Harris. I am the Director of Code, UPE Code, I'm sorry, which is a program under Epsilon Pi Epsilon, which is the largest tech organization at FIU. I'm sure all of you are familiar with UPE. So I'm thankful that you guys are able to come to this workshop. Like I said, I am the Director of UPE Code. Uh, so anyway, I don't know. All right, so I don't know what happened there. Anyway, so here are some upcoming workshops. So we have this workshop right now, which is the Web Development Part One workshop. Then we'll be diving into JavaScript in Part Two. Follow that, we'll be building APIs with Node, and then we'll be getting into mobile development with React Native. You see those dates there. Um, we'll go ahead and post announcements in Discord and on Instagram to remind you guys when those workshops are coming up. So become a member. So if you're not a member of UPE, I would recommend you go ahead and do that. You can go to this link right here, http:// UPEFIU.io to join UPE. Also, I would recommend that you join our Discord. Here's the link right there, http :// discord.gg/UPEFIU. And we post a lot of awesome stuff there and keep you updated. Social media, same thing. We keep you updated on there. Follow us at UPEFIU on all platforms. Use the hashtag UPEFIU and also follow FIU SCIS um, to keep updated with everything that we have going on within UPE. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to be building a portfolio with the basics, HTML and CSS. So we're going to go ahead and get started with HTML. Um, So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It defines the structure of a web page, and it was created in 1993 by who most people consider the godfather of the internet, Tim Berners-Lee. So here are some common HTML terms. There are elements that define the structure of a website and its objects. There are tags that are composed of less than or greater than angle brackets, and the closing tag has an extra forward slash in it. Then there are attributes that provide additional information about the contents of an element. Now, I know all this text may not make sense to you right now, so I had a graphic, but it's not loading right now for some reason. Um, that's weird. But I will go once we get into coding. I'll show you exactly what elements and tags are. So now let me show you what we're going to be building. This is the cool part. Let me bring it up really quickly. Bring this over. All right. So we are going to be building a portfolio. Looks pretty cool. I did make it mobile responsive. If we have time, we'll get into how to make it make it responsive. Yep. So here's the portfolio we're going to be building. Just has like a header image, an image about you, some information, a link to download a resume, some latest projects, and a contact form to get in touch, and some social media icons. Let me bring up the chat so I can see if you guys have any questions. All right. Yeah. So this is what we're going to be building. Looks very cool. If we have, thank you. I don't know if he's in here, but our Vice President of Logistics, Yvonne Reyes, took this picture. But yeah, so hopefully we can get through all of this and get you guys to building a portfolio like this. All right, let me move this back over to my other screen. Thank you, Alec. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, this is what we're building. And so we're going to go ahead and get started with some code and some learning the basics. Yeah, he wouldn't be. I'm responding to the chat. So if I don't like focus everything on the screen, I'm just looking at the chat. So like I said, HTML describes the structure of a web page. Every HTML document has a doc type, an HTML tag, a head tag, a body tag. And if you look at this little figure right here, that's a basic website. Um, and we're going to go ahead and I'll show you how to do that with code. So the HTML specification adds preferences for semantic HTML. So if you're using things like header, nav, main, section, div, or span, the HTML specification would like you to use those. So enough talking about it. Let's go ahead and get into code. So if you open up Visual Studio Code or your text editor of your choice, that's fine. If can everyone see the screen still? Yep. All right, great. So if you are using Visual Studio Code, you're going to come up here to this top left side and click these like two paper icons. Actually, you know what we're going to do? I should have done this differently. Click Open Folder, and then we're going to create a new folder. So I'm going to call this web dev. I see some questions. Will this meeting be recorded? Yes, meeting will be recorded. So just create a folder called web dev or whatever you prefer. Open that up inside Visual Studio Code. And then we're going to create a new file. This new file is going to be called index.html. Not HTMLs, HTML. So it is kind of the standard to call your first HTML file index, just because that's how servers recognize it and things like that. Uh, so we're going to go ahead and start coding. Yes. Okay. Sorry, I'm moving windows around on my other screen so I can see everything. And yes, we're going like right now we're going to talk about basic HTML. All right. So what you need to do, can you go over to create the file again? My mom came in. Okay, yeah. So what you would do is if you click right here, this icon, which has like a paper and a plus, you click that, it's going to add a new file. You call it index.html. Yep. Can I zoom out, or you mean zoom out or zoom in? Let's start writing some code. And if you guys can't see, I'll zoom in. So this is how you start off a basic HTML. You have in a basic website, you have to include a doc type. So to do that, you do angle bracket doc type, and you see Visual Studio Code is asking me to complete it, or it's going to complete it, which is great. If you want the screen larger, drag the yes. I mean, you could close this icon right here, so you can see everything. All right. So yeah, doc type basically lets the browser know which version of HTML you're using, and we are using what's considered HTML5, although it hasn't been updated to a new number, because what W3C does is they just add new features without creating a whole new version. But this is basically telling the browser that we're using the latest version of HTML. And so what we need to do is we now need to create the root of our document by doing HTML or angle bracket, HTML, closing angle bracket, and then Visual Studio Code completes it for us. Yeah, I can go ahead. I'm going to go. All right. Let me know if you guys can see that. Perfect. Okay. So this is the root of our document inside of our website. And now to everything that we need to add to display on the website will go in between these tags. So the first thing that we're going to create is we're going to create what's called a head a head section. Anything inside the head will not be seen on the actual body of the website. So to do that, you do head, and Visual Studio Code again completes it for us. I want to make sure I'm not leaving anyone behind. I see the chat is going, and that you guys are able to do this. Okay. All right. So inside head, anything that goes in here will not be seen um, by the will not be seen on the body. So the first thing you want to put in here is a title. Now the title is what's going to go on the top of your web page, like in the tab bar. So if you type my portfolio, when we get into actually viewing the website, you're going to see my portfolio on the top inside the tab bar. Okay. Now there are some other stuff that we need to include in the head, such as like meta tags, but we're going to include that. I'm going to add those later, just to not confuse you all. So the next thing we're going to add inside HTML, not inside the head. We're outside of the head right now, is we're going to include the body. Everything inside the body is what's going to be seen on the web page. So if you just put blank text, if you just write hello, that would show up in the body. Yes, VS Code is greater than Atom. If you're not part of the VS Code cult, please join us. We have cookies. Not really, but you know. So yeah, and everything inside the body will go on the web page. So first, we're going to add, like I was talking about earlier, HTML prefers you use semantic elements. Previously, you would just use divs, and that would be it. But HTML5 introduced new semantic elements like header, main, sections, and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and start off with a header. Okay. And basically what this header is, it's going to be, let me bring this screen back up here. So anything you see on the screen right now is what's going to be in our header. So that's going to be this like logo, this nav bar, this header text, and this background image. Okay. But for right now, we're just focusing on structure. So we're not going to add any text or anything. And when we look at our web page, eventually it's going to be blank. So to add, I've added the header, but what we need to do inside the header is we're going to first add a nav bar. So to do that, we're going to create a nav. All right. And inside this nav, I'm going to create a div just called, I'm just going to create a div. Now, this looks, I mean, this is perfect. I mean, it works and everything, but we should, when we write our HTML, we should give them unique names. And we can do that with classes. So to do that, we're going to go first back up to header, and we're going to give it a class, if I can spell it correctly. We're going to give it a class of header, which I mean is not unique, but still it's better to add a class to there. So when we style it, we can select it using the class. So in nav, what we're going to do is we're going to call this a class of header underscore nav bar. Okay. And then for this div right here, we're going to give this a class of header underscore navigation. Uh, Now you're probably asking, what's the difference between nav bar and navigation? So let me bring this portfolio back up here. This entire section up at the top, like right here, is considered the nav bar. And you see the logo is part of the nav bar, but this is the navigation. So this right here is going to be what's eventually going to go into navigation. Okay. All right. So now, underneath that nav, we're going to add a section for header content. We're still inside the header element, but we're going to add a section. And we're going to call this section header underscore content. Okay. And if I'm losing anyone, please let me know. I do have the chat up here. I might not be able to see it 100% of the time. And I also have committee members in here who will be able to help out. So inside this section is what's inside this section is gonna go like this part. the I'm Dewan, a full stack developer. That's what's going to go in there. All right. And so now we're done with the structure of the header. So underneath that, we're going to create another section, which we're going to call main. And main is going to be what everything else that's not in header is going to go into. So again, I'm going to bring this back up. I think this is good to bring this back up just to show you what's going to go in here. So this about section is going to go in there. This work section is going to go in there. This contact section is going to go in there. And this footer is going to go in there. Okay. So inside main, well, first let's give main a name, which we're going to call class. I mean, no, not we're not going to call it class, but we're going to give it a class called main. I did that backwards. Could I zoom in a little bit more? Yeah, sure. I mean, let me know if you're able to. Is that good? Yep. Okay, great. All right. So inside main, let's add all the sections that we're going to use. So the first section we're going to add is going to be our about section. So you notice like the great thing about Visual Studio Code is that it completes things. Now before I was actually typing out angle bracket section, closing angle bracket, and then it would finish it. You see, I don't even have to do that. I can just type section and it's going to create it for me. Yep, Adam does that too. It's with a plugin called Emmet. It auto completes everything, but you know we don't talk about Adam really. Uh, anyway, so inside this section, we're going to give it a class of about. Well, we're going to call it main underscore underscore about. Okay. Um, and then inside there, we're going to provide a div. And I'm going to show you something really cool. So normally I've been typing out class. You're lost. Where did I lose you at? Main. Okay. So underneath the header, let me close that really quickly. Yeah. All right. So underneath header, we just created main. So let me remove that. And I'm going to type main. And then here, we put that class of main. Yes, it's being recorded. Main, and then in here we did a section. It's going to be on YouTube, the UPE YouTube. And inside there we did a section of main underscore underscore about. And then under there, we did a div with the class of about underscore, I'm sorry, no, not about, main underscore underscore about content. For anyone that I lost, does that make sense? Okay, all right, great. So I was actually I just added this, but I was going to show you guys a shortcut to do that. So I don't have to do div and then I type out class. Like what I can do is inside there I can do div dot, and then I'm going to type the title list about content, and you see it created the div with the class inside of it. So you don't have to type that out. Uh, it might be, but because everyone's asking, needing me to zoom it, let's try it. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how this works. If my mouse Crazy. All right. Can you guys still? Hold on. Before I can do it again, can you guys still see like this? Is it zoomed in? Great. Great. All right. All right. Good. Good. Yeah. So I just split this so I can make so I wouldn't have to bring it back up. That makes more sense. I forgot who suggested that, but thank you. All right. So someone was lost. Wait. Do it again. You just did some pro hacker stuff. Yeah. 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 All right. Okay, so yeah, I'll show that again just in case anyone didn't see it because I did it pretty quickly because I'm a hacker, not really. You do div, you type div, and then dot about content, if I could spell it, and it's going to create the div with the class. Now that dot is going to make sense if you're not familiar with HTML and CSS. That dot is very important, and we'll talk about that in CSS. All right, so now let's go ahead and continue. All right, so we created the about section. Now we're going to create this work section. So everything that goes in here. So underneath the main, what we're going to do is we're going to type section dot main underscore underscore work. All right, and tab. Yes, workshop will be on YouTube. I'll make sure to post the. I saw someone post the channel earlier, so whoever did that, if you can do that again, just so everyone can see it. But yeah, it's going to be on that channel after we're finished. All right, so we're inside main underscore work, and we're going to create these divs. So this image, the title, and the text, everything in that goes inside of a div, and we're going to call that div. Let's call it main underscore project. I'm sorry, project content. No, projects. I'm sorry. Um, all right, now that created that project. How? I don't know what the name of this theme is. Uh, I'll look it up at the end and remind me, and I'll look it up and tell you what it is. I forgot what it is. I had like I think I had new themes every week. Um, oh, I misspelled project. All right. So now we have, you can see here, we have 6 of these, right? Now I could copy that 6 times and do it 6 times, but I don't really want to. So Emmett, our buddy Emmett, he comes in handy. So we can do div main, oh, sorry, main underscore underscore project. And then we can do times 6. All right. And it creates 6 divs with that class. I know I'm a hacker, right? You guys didn't know that. Yeah. Nice, nice. All right. So instead of doing what we did just 6 times, we could just do that. Stonks, right? Yeah. All right. So inside one of these projects, we're going to go ahead and add another div, and we're going to call that project content. I'm sorry, main underscore underscore. Okay. Oh, no, I did something wrong. Hold on. Emmett didn't like me for a second. Main underscore underscore project content. All right. No. So the only reason why we're doing this on one line right now is because we don't have content to go inside there yet. Um, Once we actually add content, you'll see it won't be on one line. So now I just added this project content. So now I'm just going to copy and paste it in all these other projects. Now there was a shortcut I could have done using Emmet, but that would have been like too much. Like, it would have been like a super long line. Okay. Divs create a container. Yes. So divs are short for division or divider. They just create a box around everything. Okay. All right. So we have those. We have that main project. We have project content. We have those. We have that 6 times inside of main underscore underscore work. Okay. If I've lost anyone, let me know. After the 6 divs, what did I do? I added this div of main underscore project content, and then I pasted it inside each of the 6 main underscore underscore projects. So it doesn't matter have. Yes. So classes, we're going to talk about IDs in a second, but classes can be for any um, object or any element. You can have them share the name with any elements, but IDs, you can only use it one time. And we're going to talk about IDs in a second. We're almost done with main. Okay. Uh, do, 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 do. Yeah, I so classes can be any name that you want to give them. Uh I'm naming, this is my like how do I say, the standard. I'm just putting underscores underneath them, but it can be any name that you want to give them. I'm up here a little bit behind time. I mean, the video it's going to be recorded, so if you didn't see it, you'll be able to see it again. Um so underneath this last div, or this last section right here, so the section above main. Yes, so I see people are doing it. Yeah, it's div.main underscore project times 6. And you can name that whatever you want it. So if you wanted to name it project whatever, you can put that. This is just the name that I'm giving it. All right, so we're underneath this work section, which is the section above main, and we're going to add another section for our form. Okay, so we're going to do this section dot main underscore underscore contact. And so this is the section where our form is going to go. So everything you see right here is going to go inside this section. Okay. We don't have anything to put in there because we're going to get to our forms are going to be the last thing that we do inside with HTML. So we're a ways away from that. But underneath that section, we're going to create another section. Uh, Actually, I'm sorry, no. We're going to jump outside of main. We're done with main. Uh, as structure wise, we're not putting else inside there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add this footer. So anything you see right here, this 2020 developed by Dewan Harris, these social icons, uh, it's going to go underneath main in a section that's called footer. And this is actually called footer. We're going to give it a class of footer. Okay. Quick note to add comment. Yes, you can add comments like that. I'm glad someone pointed it out. All right, so if you are lost somewhere, go ahead and put comments. Um, Comments. So inside this footer, we're going to create another section. Section dot footer underscore underscore content. Okay. And everything inside that footer underscore underscore content, that's where all the text and icons and stuff are going to go. All right. So this is a basic structure. I'm going to show you what it looks like in a little bit. But before that, we're going to go back to IDs. As I talked about, and I saw someone mention in the comments, IDs are unique for every element. So elements cannot share IDs like they can share class names. Um, can you go back down to the footer, please? Yes, I can do that. Sorry. Okay. But yeah, so IDs are unique to every element. So we're going to add one element, or we're going to give one element its own ID. And this is going to be right here up in contact. So after these quotes for class, we're going to create an ID and we're going to give it the name of contact. And so we're eventually going to use these IDs to link. And so if you go like, yeah, I'm going to go back up to the top here in this portfolio. So each of these links refer to its ID. So if I click contact, it's going to take me down to the contact section. If I go up and I click work, it's going to take me to work. Okay. And so that's what we're going to use IDs for. Of course, you could use IDs differently in terms of styling. Like if you wanted to add style to a unique element with a specific ID, you could do that. But how we're going to use IDs is just for linking. So I'm going to go back up. So you see inside this section for contact, I added an ID of contact. Okay. All right. And so then we're going to go up and I'm going to add IDs to all the main sections. So that includes work. So if you see here, I'm on at section class equals main underscore work. After that double quotes, we're going to add an ID. We're going to call it work. Okay. And then just above that, inside of about, we're going to add an ID of about. I just did section. And yes, so you could do that. Like Raul says, you could do div.section or divs, or you can do section.main underscore contact, hashtag contact, and that would create the section and give it the class and give it the ID. But that's, big brain stuff. We're not there yet. um, so yeah, inside the section of about, we added this ID of about. And we need to add a couple more IDs. Yeah, we're talking small brains for right now. Right now. So we added this ID of about, and then we're going to go up. I think that might be the last ID. Nope, I'm sorry. Inside of body, we're going to add an ID of home. I don't know. Uh, yeah, it doesn't really make sense because we won't be really linking to. I mean, we won't be if we're already at the nav, we're already at home, but we're just going to add it for right now. So this is a basic HTML website. So if you followed along with me, go ahead and save. And then if you're using Visual Studio Code, right click on this index.html and copy path. Don't copy relative path, copy path. And then you're going to bring this over to your browser. I need this to go away. Sorry. Okay, yeah. Come over to your browser and you're going to paste that path inside there. And it took you to the website. Now, you're probably looking at this like, what is this? I there's nothing on here, and you're right, there is nothing on here. But if you look up at the top, you'll know it's work. You'll know everything is working by our portfolio inside this tab. So I have this my portfolio right here, which correlates to this title right here. Okay. Yep, I know. We did all that work and you see nothing. How do you save it? You can do, if you're on Windows, Control S, on Mac, Command S. I mean, even though uh, yeah, all that work for a blank canvas. We're going to get to a not blank canvas very soon. So we're going to actually move on to the next section. If you guys are behind, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and move on to text. How did you make the blank canvas? I didn't add anything to it. Missing some IDs. That's fine. Yes. All right, no problem. I'm going to wait here for a second and answer a couple of questions. So how do I pull up the website? If you're using Visual Studio Code, you right click on index.html and then you copy path. Okay. Don't copy relative path, copy path, copy that, come up here, and then paste it inside your browser. And then that's what's going to bring up. We have three IDs. I believe we might have four. We have one inside body. We have one inside of about. We have one inside work. And then we have one inside contact. So that's four. What do I do after I click copy path? So you're going to open up your browser, whether that be Chrome or Firefox. I'm using Firefox, but it doesn't matter. And then you come up here to this to the browser, and you're going to paste it, or where you paste any other links, paste it, and then it's going to bring that up. Can I scroll up for a second? Yeah. Let me know. I can look this up while I'm waiting for people to catch up. Let's see. Code preferences, color theme. It's called Horizon Italic. And to get themes on Visual Studio Code, you come over here to this like puzzle piece or Tetris block or whatever, and you type the extension inside there. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on because we do have a lot to get to. If you are lost, that's fine. The video, it's being recorded and we're going to share it on YouTube. Scroll down to divs. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the to text because we do have a lot to get to. Okay. All right. So like I said, everything on our website is blank right now. So we're going to go ahead and add text. So HTML adds provides two ways of adding plain text, and that's headings and paragraphs. If you look at this little image right here, there are 6 levels of headings. There's this first level, second level, so on and so on. Okay. So let's go ahead and add text to our website. Come back here and here. I need this to go away. I'm sorry, the Zoom thing is bothering me. All right. Uh, nope. Sorry, I'm looking at my other screen for something. All right, I don't know what's going on there. So let's go ahead and add text. All right. I wish I could see my screen, but I can't. So sorry. Hold on. Okay. Sorry, I'm behind a little bit. I was looking at something else. All right. So the first thing we're going to add is we're going to add an H1 for um, inside header content. So if you go to header content and you click inside the section, you're going to hit enter so you can open that up. And we're going to add H1 and then type your name. So I'm just going to type Dewan. And then underneath that, we're going to add a paragraph. and we're going to type full stack developer, or whatever, thing you want to describe yourself with. Okay. I'm trying to bring up the finished website so I can show you. Oh, I know why. Give me a second. I'm seeing a lot of people are telling me I spelled developer wrong. I understand. I do that a lot. Um, all right, so developer. So here we are right now. I just added this thing. So let me do it. I'm Dewan. Can you explain the H1? So H1 is for heading one, and then P, it stands for paragraph. So paragraph text. There are 6 levels of headings for H1 for headers. I'm using H1, which is the largest one. Now, if you're looking at this finished portfolio, you see I have full stack developer in a different color, separate from the A. And what I did is I included a span tag, which is an inline element that allows us to, add different stylings. So to add a span, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut this out. Then I'm going to do span. I'm sorry. I have a lot of stuff on my screen and I'm trying to get rid of it. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to do span dot let's call this header underscore highlight. Now, what I'm also going to do is within Emmet, you can create children after that. So to do that, I'm going to create a child with the greater than, and then I'm going to create an EM. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to unzoom because it's like really huge for me. But basically what I did is I created this span with the class header underscore underscore highlight. And then I've created an emphasis tag. What emphasis does is it allows us to make our text italic. And so I'm going to paste the full stack developer back in there. Okay. Underwater basket weaver. Yep. All right. So here we are. I've added this text here and I can save this and go back to our website. And what do I see? I actually see the I'm Dewan, a full stack developer. That's cool, right? Amazing. We added something to our website. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and we're going to add more text because, it's not enough text for a website. Um, all right. So now let's go down to our about section. And then we're going to go down to underscore underneath div class about. I'm sorry, this should be main underscore underscore about content. Inside there, we're going to add the about title and then some information. So to do that, we're going to create an H4, which is the 4th level of a heading, and we're going to call it about underscore underscore title. And inside there, I'm going to put about. And then underneath that, I'm going to create an H2, which is the 2nd level of a heading. We're going to give it a class of about underscore underscore subtitle. And inside there, I'm going to type my name is Dewan Harris. All right. So I save this, Command S, and then I come back to the website, and here it is. I have this about title, and then my name is Dewan Harris. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to need to add um, all this text you see right here. Now you see it's just a bunch of nonsense. So I think what I did is I looked up startup lorem ipsum. And I came to this website called Startup Ipsum. Uh, yeah, lorem ipsum is boring now, so we want to add some more, flavor to it. Um, so if you go to just startupipsum.com, copy a paragraph, and just paste that in there. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to copy that, and then we're going to create. I forgot to add a div. Oops, I'm sorry, my bad. Let's go ahead and add that now. Underneath about content, we're going to add a bio content. Div, I'm sorry, div dot about underscore bio content. And then inside there, we're going to create a paragraph tag of about underscore bio. Okay. And then we're going to paste that text that I just copied from this Startup Ipsum website. Now, if you actually want to go ahead and type stuff in there, type your biography in there, you're more than welcome to do that. So save that, and let's come back here and look at that. That's a lot of text, but we're going to add 2 paragraphs. So I'm just going to copy that, copy this paragraph in it, like paste it again. So copy and paste. And we save that. I actually think this text was much smaller. So I'm going to copy this text from the finished portfolio and just paste it in here. Everyone in meeting. I'm sorry, that's a large block of text. So yeah, just copy that. So this first paragraph is going to go here. And then this second paragraph is going to go here. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. So to automatically, I'm using something called Prettier, which is like super far advanced. And if you're in the code cohort, we're going to talk about TypeScript and we're going to talk about Prettier in there. But that's a future workshop. But I mean, for right now, what you can do is you can just go to Window. I think it's WordWrap somewhere is in here. Toggle WordWrap. It's a secret. I'm not going to tell you guys. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and continue because I am talking. So we've added this about bio, and then we have some more text that we can add. First, we're going to add a button. So inside this bio content underneath the paragraph, we're going to add a button. We're going to call it button.btn about underscore btn. And that creates a button with two classes. One is just the general button class, and then the other is a specific class. And then we're going to type some text in there for download resume. Save that. Refresh, and we have a button right there to download the resume. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this about, and then this, my name is Dewan Harris for other sections. So if we come to work, and above the first project, we're going to create another H4 with the class of work, or work subtitle, or work title and work subtitle. We're going to give it a name of work, and then we're going to call the subtitle, the text inside the subtitle is going to be latest projects. All right. All right. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm kind of behind here. All right. So inside of project content, we're going to create an H3 with a class of work __ project title. And we're just going to call it project title. Actually, we're going to wrap this in a strong element. So let me cut that, type strong, project title. And then underneath that, we're going to have a paragraph of project info. And inside there, I'm just going to copy this text right here. I'll paste it inside Zoom, in the Zoom chat so you guys can have it too. And then I'm going to copy everything from this project, this H3 or project title down to this paragraph tag. And we're going to paste that into each project content div. Paste that there, there, there. All right, so now if I come back over to the portfolio, refresh, there we have latest project and project titles. All right, so I mean, we're kind of moving here. We have a lot of text on our portfolio, and it's starting to look a lot more like an actual portfolio. Well, not really, because we don't have any style on here. So now we're going to move over to contact. And so for contact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing that I default text is style. Yeah, you're right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to contact and add a title and a subtitle. So again, it's going to be an H3 with a class of work __ project. I'm sorry, not project. Contact. I'm sorry. Contact __ title. It's going to be contact. And that shouldn't be an H3, it should be an H4. All right. And then underneath that, we're going to have another paragraph, no, an H2 dot contact __ sub title. And then there we're just going to type get in touch. All right, and then that's going to be it for contact, at least for right now. And then we're going to come down to footer, and inside of footer content, we're going to add a paragraph. So we're going to do p dot footer underscore underscore copyright. All right, and I'm going to type 2020 developed, and you would just type your name, developed by your name. Now, here, yeah, it's I'm okay. So I'm just gonna have to swipe back and forth between the finished portfolio and the actual and the code, so that way you guys can see the end of the line. I'm sorry about that. Um, so if I save that, and then we're gonna come back over to the portfolio, refresh everything. See, we have a lot of text here. One thing we're missing, if you see on the footer of the portfolio, is this copyright sign. Now, to add that, it's very interesting. What we do is we use something called HTML entities, um, and to add the copyright symbol, if I can, sorry, to add the copyright symbol, we're going to use the ampersand, which is Shift 7, copy, semicolon. And that's going to add the copyright symbol. So if I refresh, you see I have the copyright symbol right here. Okay. All right. If I've lost anyone, please let me know. Can I scroll up a little bit? Yeah. I mean, just tell me main projects. So inside each main project, we have this div of main underscore underscore project content. And then we have the project title, and then we have the project info. We did that 6 times for each project. We just, once you do it in one, you just copy it and then paste it in each one. I'm scrolling. I did not catch what you did before the footer content after the copy and pasting. All right. So if you've gotten to the project and you finished your project looks like this. Then inside, you're going to go down to the section for the contact, and you're going to add an H4 for contact underscore underscore title, and an H2 with contact underscore underscore subtitle. Buttons, I just need the buttons. So there's only one button, and it's right here underneath the about. Why do we use section and footer tags instead of divs? Just to be more semantic. Uh, I mean, we could use divs everywhere, but because we're each thing is it's section, it just makes sense to name them sections. Main, you want me to go to main contact? Right here. I see I have a lot of messages on Discord, which is unusual. Oh, that's for another server. Okay. All right. So, oof, I need to really get going because it's 7:05. All right. So let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next section, um, which is going to be lists. All right. So basically, like I said, like you saw, we have a really basic website, and that's just going to go over. That has all the text that we need. But now we need to add lists for like our navigation and our social icons in the footer. Can you go back to those? I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to the code in a second. But so the HTML specification provides three list types. Those are ordered, unordered, and definition. As you can see in the figure, you see ordered right here, unordered right here, and then a definition right here. We are going to be using ordered. I'm sorry. We're going to be using unordered lists for our navigation and stuff like that. So I'll go back to the code. Okay. Sorry. Just in case you guys got lost. We're going to keep going down. So let's start with the first list, and that's going to be inside header. So if I go up to header, and then inside this header underscore navigation. So to do this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a UL, give it a name of header underscore nav content. And as I was showing you before, you can create child elements with image just by using the greater than sign. And then we're going to create an li. Well, first, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap these in parentheses, and I'll show you why. So it's going to be an li with the name of dot header underscore nav item. And then that is going to have a child of an anchor tag. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We'll get to the anchor tag later. But for right now, this is what it's going to be. And then we're going to do times, let's see, we have 4 links. So times 4. Let's see. And so we just created the unordered list with 4 nav items. So if you missed that, I'll post it again. I'll type it right here. It's going to be ul dot header underscore nav content greater than sign parentheses li dot header underscore nav item times 6. I'll paste this in Zoom just in case you missed it. Yeah, unordered list. Yeah, UL is unordered list and LI is list item. So that's how we create an unordered list for the nav items. Now I'm not going to add the text here, but once we get into links, which is going to be the next section, we're going to go ahead and add the text for each list item. But that's basically how you create it. And we do have one more section in which we are going to be using list items. Check something. Oh, oops. I'm sorry, I'm looking at something else. All right, so let me close that. All right, so as I was saying, there is one other section in which we do need to use lists, and that's going to be inside footer. So I'm going to scroll down to footer, and underneath this, the paragraph with the copyright, we're going to do ul that li, I'm sorry, ul dot footer underscore social item. And then we're going to do footer. Oh, no. Oh, what did I name this? Oh, I didn't name it anything. So we're going to call this social list. And then we're going to give it an li dot footer underscore social item. We're going to multiply that by, let me see what was on this website. GitHub, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. So I'm going to be using GitHub, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you guys want to add more, you're welcome to do that. But for me, it's going to be times 5. All right. So that just created an unordered list with 5 list items inside of it that we're going to add to later. Now, I mean, that's it for lists. It was a very short section. What's going on here? Yeah, it was a very short section. So we're going to go ahead and move on to links. So basically, links allow us to link to another page or within the same site. And you create links using the anchor tag, and you give it an attribute of href, which is the actual link that you want it to go to, and another attribute for target. We're going to be using target underscore blank for links that link to outside sources, and then we're now going to include a target for those that link within the website. So for our navigation, we won't include a target, but for our links that go to our social media icons, we're going to be using target equals underscore blank. All right. So let's add our first link. We're going to go back up to our navigation. And in here, we're going to create a with the class of header underscore nav link. Now you see it created this anchor element with the class of header underscore nav link, and it added this href attribute. So for our navigation links, they link within the website and they link by the ID. So we're going to link to do that. It's going to be a hashtag. This is going to be for home. So it's going to be hashtag home. And then within the brackets, we're going to type home. So if I've lost anyone, let me know. Are all of you caught up? Because I don't see anything. Yep. Okay. All right. Great. So we're going to do this for all of our nav items. So I'm just going to copy this line and paste it into each nav item. Of course, the names we're going to go back and change the names for each of them. So for this nav item of home right here, we're going to name this about. The href is going to go to about. This href is going to go to work. And then this one is going to go to contact. And then we're going to change this text to about. Change this text to work. And this text to contact. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go down I think there's another link somewhere besides the footer. Nope. Okay. We're going to go down to footer. And this is where things get interesting. So first, let me add this here. I'll do this. So my first link is gonna go for GitHub. So it's gonna be, I'm going to create an anchor element with the class of footer underscore underscore social link. All right. And then this href is going to be http://www.github.com/DejuanCanCo. Now that's my portfolio. That's my link to my GitHub portfolio or GitHub profile. You don't have to do that right now. You can just do github.com for right now and then go back and change it once we're done with the workshop. Now we're going to add a target. Like I was saying earlier, target allows us to link to, will let us link, well, any link will let us link anywhere. But target, what it does is it creates a new tab instead of going to that website within the same tab. So to do that, it's going to be target underscore blank. And for right now, I'm going to give it a text of GitHub. We're going to change this later. Will you give practice page so we can play around? Um, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I can show you. Like, I mean, you can practice anywhere with the HTML. What was the shortcut for href? There's no shortcut for href. Once you type a, so here I'm going to go back here and I'm going to create this next one, a dot footer underscore underscore social link, and it's going to add the href automatically. You just need to add the link that it goes to. So for this next one, I'm just going to do Facebook. All right. And the text is going to be Facebook. And now I'm just going to copy this link for the rest of the nav items. All right. So this next one is going to be Instagram. This next one is going to be Twitter. And this last one is going to be LinkedIn. Okay. All right. So I'm going to save this. And then I'm going to bring back the portfolio again just to show you guys what happened or what changes have been made. So refresh, and you see we've added this home, about, work, contact. So if I click about, it's going to take me to the about section. If I click contact, it's going to take me to contact. Click work, it's going to take me to work, stuff like that. And then if I come down here and I go to GitHub, it's going to take me to github.com. And if I take Twitter, it's going to take me to Twitter, although it should have opened it in a new tab. What did I not do? Oh, for these other ones, I didn't add the target. So we're going to copy target underscore blank, and we're going to add them. Save that. All right, so yeah, if I go to Instagram, it's going to open up in a new tab, and it's just going to go to Instagram. All right. I mean, it'll be I can't say it'll be posted within a day. I'm going to try to get it up there as soon as the workshop ends. But if it's not, it will be up by tomorrow. All right. So those are the links for our portfolio. And now, I mean, our portfolio is looking pretty good. We got the text, we got a button, we got some links. So what's next? Images. That's what's next. So these images are going to allow us to like break up the text. The image element itself involves creating. It's actually the first self-closing tag that we've had. Before, like anchor tags or stuff like that, you have to close it with another anchor, like angle bracket slash a angle bracket. Here, you don't have to do that with images. It requires two attributes: a source and then an alt. Um, Although you don't have to add an alt with your image, it's highly recommended that you do for screen readers. So that way, if someone using a screen reader comes to your website, the person can't see, but the screen reader will read your alt tag and tell the person visiting your website what the image is. Okay. Images are your most troubling aspect? I know, or CSS. Uh, so let's go ahead and get started with images. So, I'm gonna show you how to create images in a second. I'll also post the PowerPoint afterwards. Sorry. Okay. All right. So first, what we're gonna do, uh, we've been working in exclusively inside this index.html file. But what we can do is we're going to create a folder, and we're going to call that folder assets. This is where you would put any images that you would want, and sometimes you put CSS and stuff in here. But we're not going to do that. So I'm going to add an asset in here. I'm going to add an image of myself. I would recommend you add an image of yourself or something, but you don't have to. Let me go here, photos. So here, I have my folder right here, my files right here. So I'm going to take this image and I'm just going to drag it over and put it into assets. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a folder. So to do that, you come up here and you click this icon that says new folder, or you can right click and click new folder. You're going to title it assets, and then you're just going to drag the picture that you want in there. Okay. Yeah. So now to add this image, what we're going to do is we're going to come down to about. I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to go to about, and then right above this bio content, but underneath this H2, I'm going to create another div. Um, and this div I'm going to call image container. Div dot about underscore image container. All right. And then inside there, I'm going to add this image. Sorry, one more time. All right. Yeah, my icons are different because I have icons installed. Um, so yeah, this is how you add. So we're creating this div of image container, and then inside there we're going to add an image. Just type image. So actually, let me give this a class. Class equals about image. Okay. So now to add the source uses what's called a relative path. So basically, it's relative to where you are in your current folder. So to do that, we're going to do dot, which says we're here. The dot represents here. And then we're going to go slash, which means we're going to go into a directory. And the directory we're going to go into is called assets. And then we're going to go into the file, which I've named djh.jpg. Okay. And then in alt, we're going to create a like an alternative title for this image or a title for this image so screen readers can see it and understand what it is. So I'm just going to call it profile picture. Okay. And then well, I'll show you that in a second. So I'm going to save this, right? And then I'm going to refresh the browser. And you see, I have the picture here, but it's extremely big, uh, like massive. It's like incredibly big. So we're going to change that. Um, and so to do that, we're going to give it a width and a height, right? So I'm going to give it a width, I don't know, width equals 390 pixels. I just made that number up. And then that did it. So that shrunk it down so that the width is 390 pixels, and then it kept the height auto, so that the constraints are still the same. You don't have it. You don't have to do 390. You could do whatever 500. Let's see how 500 looks. Not 5,000. 5,000 would have been big too. Yep. So 500 looks pretty good. I'll move it back down to 390. Cancel. All right. So that's pretty good. Now we also have images inside of the actual finished portfolio. Now, how we did that is just we just got a random image. So there are sites that will allow you to do that. Random pick, I think. Lorem ipsum pick. All right. And so this will allow us to get random pictures. So I just went to this website, pixum.photos. If I click this, it's going to generate a random picture of that size. So let me go back because we want images that are square. So let's do, sorry, let's do 300 by 300. And that's just going to generate pictures that are 300 by 300. Okay. So I'm going to copy this link. All right. And then we're going to come down. Let me go back to the code. We're going to go to work. All right. Now underneath work underscore project content underscore project, we're going to create another div, div dot work underscore project img container, something like that. And inside there, we're going to create an image. The source is going to be the link, which we're going to give it 300 by 300. And alt, we're just going to give it random image because it is a random image. And then a class, we're going to give it a class of work underscore project image. Oh, sorry. Class equals work underscore project img. Now we're just going to copy this and paste it inside each project. So copy everything from the work project container down to this other div. So that. All right. So it's 2. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. Oh, that was 6 actually. My math is bad. Make sure 1. Nope, that was 5. This is 6. All right. So we copy and pasted that 6 times. So now if we go back to the website, see we have 6 images for each project. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to look at the chat and also keep you guys entertained. Sorry. So that's images. All right. Our portfolio is looking, pretty good now. It is basic, but that's because we haven't gotten to CSS. But that's fine. So now I did have a section on tables, but we don't have tables in the actual portfolio. So there's really no need to go in depth into it. I can just tell you that basically tables allow us a way to group content like ISP plans and employee records and stuff like that. You use the elements that you use within tables are obviously table, use T body, T head, T footer, THTR, and TD. And then this is like a simple table that I created. If you're interested in tables and stuff like that, I would recommend you go to MDN, which is Mozilla Developer Network, and you can go more in depth into things that we can't cover. So what I can do is we do have a GitHub repository with the final code that I can share, so you can see like the entire project. I mean, sure. Hold on. So basically what I did is I took this div, so div work underscore project image container, this image all the to right here. So I copied 3 lines, copy that, and then you paste it right above the div for main underscore project content in each project. Okay. So let's move on to the next section, which is forms. This is the last section with HTML. So after this, our website will be HTML complete, pretty much. I mean, we might have to go back and forth and add a couple of things, but this is going to be it. So the forms just allow us to collect information that we can later send to a server. They're comprised of inputs, labels, buttons, text areas, and other elements. So this is what our form is going to look like once it's finished. So here we are in HTML. We're going to scroll down to contact, which we haven't really added anything to contact except for the title and the subtitle. But that's where we're going to spend this entire section in. All right. So first, underneath this subtitle, we're going to create another div, which we're going to call contact underscore form container. Okay. Inside there, we're going to create a form. So to do that, it's just going to be form, and then form dot contact underscore form. Action, what action the action attribute is saying is what should the form go to? Like, what page should the form go to after you're done completing it? For right now, we're just going to leave that blank. There also is another attribute that it's pretty important to have, and that's going to be method. Method says, what is the form doing? Is the form getting something, like in the form of a search, or is it posting something? Is it sending something to a server? Because eventually this would send data to to a server, we would use post. Although we're not going to really mess with this because we're not including any JavaScript or stuff like that. All right. So now in form, we're going to create another div. We're going to give this a class of contact underscore underscore inputs. Inputs. And this is basically going to be the wrapper for all of our inputs. And now we're going to create a singular input. So the first input we're going to do, we're going to create another div inside that with contact underscore underscore form field. Okay. And this div is gonna represent the container for one field inside the form. So we're gonna add a label dot contact underscore underscore label. All right, and so this label is what gives it what. So here, let me go back to the project. So right here with name, that's a label. Okay, email, phone number, message, those are labels. All right. So this for is going to connect the label to an input. So for this first input, we're going to use name. Yep. And then the text that we're going to use in here is going to be name colon. All right. And then we have our actual input. So it's going to be input of text. So to do that, you do input colon text dot contact underscore underscore input. And now we can use IDs with them. And so do hashtag or pound sign or whatever name. And then the name is going to be name because that's the field that we're creating. And we can also give it an attribute of required. So that means that this input is required. Sorry, my mouse is acting crazy. All right. So that's it for that field. Am I missing something? I am not. So what we can do is we can then copy everything from this form field all the way down. And we can paste that a couple of times. 2, 3. All right, so we pasted it 2 times. And so that way we can easily edit them. So in this second label, we're going to change the for to email. And then this text is going to be email. We're going to change the name to email and the ID to email also. All right. If I've lost anyone, let me know. We're going to take a break in a second once we're done with this. All right, so the next input. Yeah, go ahead. Um, sorry, the next one is going to be for phone number. All right, so we changed this for to phone. And then the text to phone number. Again, the name is going to be phone, and the ID is going to be phone. All right. So we save that. And then we have one last thing to add. Well, two things actually. I'm sorry. We have to add the message field and then the button. So to do that, all right, I'm going to close. Let me see. I'm going to close the section for inputs. So to do that, I'm going to just come up to this line and click that. So that way you guys aren't lost, because underneath contact underscore underscore inputs, right before form, we're just going to add another div. So this is going to be div dot contact underscore underscore message field. And then in there, we're going to have another label with the class of contact label. The for is going to be message. And then the text inside this is going to be message. And this one, this next element for the form is not going to be an input. It's going to be something called a text area. All right. So this name is going to be message. The ID is going to be message. I'm going to delete these calls and rows because we're eventually going to style it with CSS. All right. This class is going to be contact underscore underscore message. Okay. So I'll save that. And then we only have one more thing to add, and that's going to be the button. All right. So right above form, we're going to create button. Button. Type is going to be submit. So you're going to do button colon submit dot btn dot contact underscore underscore btn. And then the text is going to be submit. Okay. All right. Oh, there was one thing I forgot to add inside links. So I'm glad I just saw this, but we're going to go back. So I'm going to save this really quickly, and I'll show you what the form looks like. So I'll refresh, and I'll scroll down. And this is our form. We have name, email, phone number, message, and then the submit button. Doesn't really look that much, that interesting, but we're going to change it with CSS in a little bit. But the thing that I just noticed I forgot is that these links, they're not supposed to be text. They're supposed to actually go to images. And we're going to get those images from something called Font Awesome. Okay. All right. So Font Awesome basically adds all these icons that we can use for free, or you can even pay for it to get more icons. And so to get started, I have an account. So I'm going to sign in. You can also click the start using, and it'll ask you to enter your email, and it'll give you a code. Um, for right now, I'm just going to create a code so you guys don't have to worry about creating an account. All right. We're going to call this code. So I'm going to post a link in Zoom so that you guys can use it. Of course, after this workshop is over, I'm going to delete the code. So you should, go to Font Awesome and create your own account. But for right now, we're going to use this. So copy the code, and then you're going to come all the way up to the top of your website. And then underneath the title, You're going to paste it inside head. All right. So you paste that and then come down to footer. Okay. Sorry, I'm lost for a second. All right. And where this GitHub text is, we're going to remove that. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to add this. I'm going to paste these. Yeah, I'm going to paste all of these um, icons in Zoom so you guys can use it. So this is for GitHub. Right. This is for Facebook. This is for Instagram. I'm what? Oh, sorry. Hold on. Give me a second. Sorry. Yeah, my lights are off. So where was I? Instagram. Did I paste Instagram in here? I did not. So let me paste Instagram. That's Instagram. Twitter. That's Twitter. Hope I may have done something wrong there. Nope, that works. Um, yep, and that's LinkedIn. All right, so you're going to add all of these and save it so that it now once we go back to our portfolio. And I refresh, you see all of those icons are right here. Yeah, so yeah, they're really cool. Font Awesome also has tons of icons that you can use. So this is our portfolio. Very interesting. Um, we got a lot in here, um, and so I'm going to run through Git really quickly. Yes, remove the text. Remove the text and paste those images there. So I'm going to run through Git really quickly so that we can hurry up and move on to CSS. And Git is very, I mean, it's important. And I also post slides for our original GitHub workshop, so you can see those later. Because I did kind of just take these slides from our previous GitHub workshop. So Matt, I don't know if you're in here, but sorry. Anyway, not sorry. Um, so Git is a version control system. Basically, it allows us to easily keep track of a project. GitHub allows us is an online hub that allows us to store Git projects. It allows us to create easy backups, and it allows quick collaboration between teams. So Git and GitHub, they allow us to keep different branches of code. It's an industry standard for version control. Well, Git is an industry standard for version control. GitHub is not necessarily an industry standard. There are alternative platforms like GitLab, um, There's another one. I forget. Um, but there are other ways that you can store Git repositories online. GitHub is not the only one. It's just the most popular one. Bitbucket, yes, that one. I forgot about that one. Um, so yeah, some Git terminology are a repository, which is a repo, which is a place that allows you to store your code. Commits are a snapshot of your repository. Origin is the URL for the remote repository. Remote is any repository that isn't stored on your actual machine. Upstream is the remote repository that we push to, and master is the default branch for a Git repo. Although GitHub is trying to change the default branch from master to main for, I mean, some kind of obvious reasons, but right now it's still master. Um, so here are some steps to commit. So first, how we're going to commit, you could open up a terminal, but Visual Studio Code, being the great thing that it is, um, allows us to open up a terminal by itself. So for Windows, I think it's Control and then backtick, which is the key right underneath escape. For Mac, it's the same thing, Control backtick. Yeah, this workshop will hopefully maybe in the future. Maybe in the future. I love VS Code, obviously. Um, so that opens up a terminal. It's just control backtick. So the backtick is this little symbol right here. All right. So that opens up a terminal within VS Code. Um, and then what we can do is we can do git init. That's going to initialize an empty repository inside our folder. That's git space init. Now we're going to stage all of our changes. To do that, we're going to type git space add, and then we're going to follow that with a period. The add basically adds everything, or the period basically adds everything. Otherwise, you would just have to do the file. So you could do git add index.html and then whatever. So if you have a lot of files, it doesn't make sense to do it file by file. You could just do period. Right? So that stages all of our changes. So if I do git space status, that shows you it's going to see, it says changes to be committed. It's the new file, my picture, and then the index.html. All right. So to commit, you do commit space git space commit dash m, which is a flag that says message. So you have to include a message. So the initial message that most people use for their first commit is initial commit. That is probably because you do not have Git installed. That's why. Um, and if you, all right, I'm not sure why that is. You may not have added to path. Um, and if that's if not, I mean, we can talk about that later. I do want to get this get through this for everyone though. But yeah, I can talk about that with you later. But for right now, this is how you do commit. It's git space commit dash m initial commit. All right, and then that's going to commit the Git repository, but that doesn't push it to GitHub. So it's still on our local machine. So to create a remote repository on GitHub, what we do is we go to we go to GitHub, which is just github.com. All right. And then you're going to create a new repository by clicking this plus icon right here. New repository. You can just call it whatever, profile or portfolio. I'm just going to call it code portfolio. You can't really use spaces. I forgot. So code portfolio. All right. And then that's going to create a repository. You click that green button. And then what you do is you copy Um, this line right here, git remote add origin, right? Come back to VS Code. You paste that line. Um, Basically, that adds the remote repository to the version control. Uh, Now, I'm sorry. Get what GitHub wants you to do is change your master branch to main, so you can do that. Git branch underscore. Paste that back in here. All right. And then the next line that we have to do is git push dash u origin master. All right. And that's going to push the repository to GitHub. All right. So finish, and then I'll go back to GitHub, refresh, and here I have my code here, index.html inside my Git profile. The term Git is not recognized in the name of the function. Yeah, I mean, I the only way that I would see that error is if you did not have it installed. So I'm not sure. That's weird. Are you guys using Mac or Windows? Windows. Uh, yeah. So I mean, for the issue that for the people that are getting errors, are using Mac or Windows? Yeah, I'll go back to terminal. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure how to diagnose that yet. Like on my terminal, there's a little selection. Yeah, so if you're like in VS Code, you click this icon and you click Bash, or if you're on Windows, you can actually just open up. So if you're on Mac, what you can do is you can do Command Space Terminal or Command Space and then type Terminal. Or if you're on Windows, I would just look up Git Bash, and maybe try it in there. Yeah, yeah, I understand. That's fine. Um, so basically, GitHub is the place that allows us to store our repository. So to first, you need to create a remote repository. So to do that, let me go back to the home. You click this plus icon, click new repository. It's going to ask you for, I thought it was going to create the main branch, but it still says master, and that's the first time I've seen that command. So I'm not entirely sure. But first, let me go back to GitHub. Yeah, so you're going to create a repository, give it a name, something, something, something. And then it's going to ask you to. Then it's going to um, give you some things that you would need to copy and paste in your terminal. So you're going to paste this, copy this line and paste it, and then copy this line and paste it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move on to CSS. Um, and if once we get through that, if you guys still have issues with Git, we'll come back to it. But let's go back and just focus on building the portfolio. Okay. All right. So here's our portfolio still. Just the basic HTML and HTML, no CSS. So let's move on to CSS. Um, CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. It allows us to add style to a web page and it was created in 1996 by the W3C, which stands for World Wide Web Consortium. They're the group that manage HTML and CSS and implement new features and stuff like that. So some common CSS terms are selectors, declarations, properties, and values. Selectors basically select which element a rule will apply to. Um, Declarations are how the element should be styled. They include a property and a value. Properties indicate the aspects of the element that we want to change, and values specify the settings for the chosen property. So here is CSS in detail. There's a selector, there's a property, there's value, and then there's the declaration. So let me come back here. The first section we're going to get to within CSS is adding colors. Sorry. So we're going to go ahead and add colors to our website. There are multiple ways to add colors to a website. There's hex values, RGB, RGBA, HSL, and HSLA, and different color names. Um, so I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. First thing that we're going to do, let me close this terminal. And I'm going to close this, close this, close this. All right, we're going to create a new folder. So right click, new folder. We're going to call it styles. All right. And this is where all our CSS is going to go. So the first folder that the first file that we're going to create, we're going to call variables.css. And basically, new to CSS is we can create variables for things that we repeat a lot. And so to create that, we're going to do this. We're going to do colon root curly brace, and then the variable. These are going to be the variable names. So it's going to be the first one's going to be accent blue. It's the blue accent, and it's going to be this color right here. This next one is going to be accent yellow. CSS, you do have to add a semicolon to the end of a declaration. So accent yellow. All right, this next one is going to be a gray background. And this one is just going to be F8. 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 Then this next one is going to be white. It's going to be hashtag FFF. Right. And then this next one is going to be for text opacity. Opacity. And this one is going to be an RGBA value. So with RGBA, it's similar to hex, but then this last value right here is an alpha value, which allows us to create transparency. So I'm going to paste this inside Zoom. And then we have a gradient that I just called BG gradient. And we're using the linear gradient function. Have I lost anyone? So far, so good. Okay, that's great. Thank you. So we're going to create another file inside styles. This next file is going to be called main.css. So we're going to be using something called imports, which will allow us to import every CSS file into one CSS file. And this is where all of our imports are going to go. And then the next file we're going to create is called base. This file is where all of our base files are going to go. Um, so anything that has to do with all elements, all sections, they're going to go in here. Then we're going to create another folder inside styles, which we're going to call section styles. All right. And then inside there, we're going to create files for each of the different sections. So the first is going to be about.css. Next one is going to be contact.css. Then container, no, I'm sorry, then footer.css. Then header CSS, and then work.css. All right. So we created all those files within a folder called section styles within the styles folder. And this is where we're going to add all the styles for each section. So if we go to about, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to style we're going to add color to each of the text elements. So to do that, we're going to do about underscore title, curly brace, and then it's going to be color, bar, sorry, color, bar, dash, dash, accent, yellow. And this is how we use the variables that we set up earlier. I'm in the work file. That's fine. I'll just change this to work. Thank you for telling me. Sorry. We're going to use the same colors for each one, or for most of them. Yes, there is a semicolon. I forget my semicolon. Sorry. Um, and then the next one is going to be dot work underscore underscore subtitle. Right? And that color is going to be the accent blue. Okay. And then for the project title, we're going to use this accent blue again. Right. And then for the project info, it's going to be color bar blue opacity. Right. So we can copy these two lines for pretty much every section. So if I go back to about, which are the place that should have been, change that to about. All right, and then we need to add another one for about info. About underscore info. Color. Far. Dash blue. Opacity. Okay. And I'm actually going to copy this for the next one. So for contact, this is going to be contact. And this one is not going to be contact info, it's going to be contact label. All right. And then if I come to footer and I paste that again, this is going to be footer underscore copyright. And then this is going to be footer underscore social link. This one we're going to remove because we don't need that. Now, if we go into header, let's paste those again. Header underscore logo. This one is actually going to be white. And then for header, underscore nav link. This one is also going to be white. Let me paste that again, sorry. For header, this is for this accent yellow is going to be header underscore headlight. Or no, highlight, I'm sorry. Okay. And then this one is going to be header underscore. This one is going to be for title and subtitle. So if we want to, in CSS, if we want to add similar styles to this to different sections, what we can do is instead of copying and pasting it twice, we can use comma and then hit enter again, and then another selector. So header underscore subtitle. All right. And this will color them both blue, but we don't want them to be blue. We actually want them to be white. So dash white. The only reason why I didn't do that with logo and navlink is because I'm also going to include different styles for them. All right, so that's the only reason why they're not separated by commas and stuff like that. Now, there's another style that I need to actually add to this header, and that's going to be for the background. So to do that, it's going to be header, background, bar, dash, BG gradient. Right. That's going to add a background of that gradient color before. Um, and there's another couple places that I need to add a background to. I believe I need to add a background into work. Yep. Although this color is not going to be that gradient. Um, it's going to be that BG gray. Grew gray. And I also need to use this inside the footer. All right. Okay. So let me save this and let's go to the portfolio and take a look. Oh, so you see that I added these styles, uh, but nothing changed. And there's a pretty good reason for that. That reason is we did not link the CSS to the HTML. So to do that, let's come back to index.html. All right. If I scroll up right above the script tag for the font awesome, we do link colon CSS. All right. Now this is going to ask for href of style.css, but ours is actually going to be /styles / main.css. Now, if I save that, we still won't see any changes because main is going to be our entrance file for all of our styles, and that requires imports, which we haven't added imports yet. So I'm just going to copy and paste this from the finished portfolio, and then I'll paste it in Zoom. So you're going to copy that, and then you're going to paste that inside of main.css. And make sure you've saved all of your CSS files. So I'm going to save that, and then let's go back and see if we have styles. I still don't see any styles. Oh no, I do see a style right here, but what's going on? This is where it's helpful to inspect element and see what's going on. Accent blue is not set. What? Oh, what do I need to do? Oh, I think I know what I need to do. I need to import the variables.css. So to do that, we add that above these imports. Now, if I save that, hopefully we actually see something. I still don't see anything, and I don't know why. Let's see what's going on. Sorry. I save this. Save variables. Um, This is actually very interesting. Style sheet main.css. If you guys are able to see styles, let me know because I'm having an issue. So, oh, there it is. I had to refresh. That was crazy. All right. So you see the about has a yellow color. The my name has a kind of a bluish color. These titles have a kind of a bluish color, and then the social icons have a little bit of a bluish color. So, um, but something this should be gray BG. Sorry, not BG gray, but gray BG, and that's the same for footer for work. So, all right, here we go. They have a little bit of a gray border, and that's what we want. Let me make sure everything is good. Go back to my HTML. Oh, main work, not. See, that's a problem. That's my bad. I named these differently from what I gave the styles. Um, so this should be main underscore footer. Save. Oh, no, no, no. That one's right. But this work should be main underscore work. All right. Sorry about that. But we've added some colors to this website. That looks pretty good. So now let's go ahead and move on to actually adding our own unique text. And we're going to do that with fonts. So we can use Google Fonts, or we can just use whatever you have installed. I believe I am using Google Fonts in this final website. So let me look that up and see which one I'm using. Let me go back to, sorry. Okay. I cannot, I know I'm using a font, but I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Sorry. So I'm using a Google font right here. I'll paste this in so you can use that. You're going to take that link and you're going to paste it inside your HTML. What you're going to do right above your title. Okay. All right. So once everyone gets that, let's see. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and go about styling our text. So let me go back to the about.css. All right. Actually, let's go to base. All right, so we're going to go to base.css and we're going to create a selector for HTML. So we're going to HTML font size is 62.5%. Now, this is a very unique, not unique, but a very specific number because the font size on any normal website default is going to be 16 pixels. But we're going to be using something called rims, um, and it makes it easier to do the math if the base is at 10 pixels. So that way, 1.6 rim is 16 pixels, 2 rim is 20 pixels, and so on and so on. So we're setting it the font size initially to 62.5%. So that's basically saying it's 10 pixels. All right. And we're going to go down and we're going to select the body. And we're going to include the fonts. So we're going to do font family. Open sans. Sorry. Comma. Sans serif. Semicolon. Font weight is going to be 400. All right. And then font size, we're going to set it to 1.6 rem, which is 16 pixels. All right. So if I save this and then I go back to our portfolio. All right, so this added that, but this is still doing Times New Roman for some reason. About sorry, I'm running into a lot of issues right now. I mean, which is expected with web development. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to import it into the main. So import / base.css. Now, if I save that, we added those fonts. I understand. No, yeah, like I said, everything will be on YouTube. I understand. Like a lot of people have to leave. It's getting kind of late, and that's fine. So yeah, we've added the font size. We've added the fonts. The font that we're gonna be using. Okay. So now let's go back into each individual section and mess with the styling of the text there. All right. So for about title, we're going to use something called text transform. Basically, we want the title to be uppercase. Now, I could have typed it out uppercase, but in case I want to change it later on, it's just better to just use it through CSS. So we're going to do uppercase. And then we're going to add a font size of 1.5 rem. Rem basically stands for the size of the root element. So the size of the root element is 10 pixels. So 1.5 times 10 pixels is 15 pixels. So 1.5 rem. That's for the title. For the subtitle, yes, okay. For the subtitle, we're going to make this font size bigger. We're going to make it 3.2 rem, which is 32 pixels. All right. For the bio, why did I name this about info? It's about bio. For the bio, it's going to be a font size of 1.5 rem. Not 2.5, that would be really big. 1.5. Okay. And line height is going to be 1.4. So line height is basically the height of the line. And it's unitless, so it doesn't have a unit. It's just 1.4. It's the top, the size. The value you use is going to be the value times the font size. Uh, I mean, well, I could use pixels, but so um, the thing is, rims are relative to the size of the screen. Pixels are not relative. So anything that's going to be 10 pixels is going to be 10 pixels for any size. But if I wanted to fluctuate with different screen size, then that's better to use rim. Rim is just better to use for responsive design. There are multiple ways you can use fonts. You can use pixels, you can use points, you can use inches. I would not recommend you use inches. You can use rims, you can use M's, you can use percentages. It's just my preference to use rims. So line height is going to be 1.4. I spelled that wrong. All right. Save that. All right. And then we're going to come over to contact, which is the next one. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy everything for title, put that into contact title. That goes the same for work. Anything in work title goes there. And I know I'm missing something. About contact work. I think that's it. Let me see something. Change that to contact. Change this to work. Change this to about. All right. So I'm going to save that. Save CSS. Save the work. And then we're going to do the same for subtitle. So any subtitle, we're going to paste that there. Same for work, paste that subtitle there. And then that's going to be that. So for contact, do I have anything unique? Yes. So for contact label, we're going to give it a font size. Not adjust font size of 1.5 rim. Save that. Let's move on to footer. For the font size, for the copyright, we're going to make it 2 rim. All right. For a header, the logo, we're going to use this. It's called Carla. Okay. The font weight is going to be 700. Font style is going to be italic. font size is going to be 3.2 rem. All right. For nav link, font size that's going to be 2 rem, and we're going to use something called text dash decoration. None. So if you notice, like on any anchor element, there's a line decoration. We're going to get rid of that. All right. So for dot header title, we're going to give this a font size of 4.8 rem. Line height of 1.2. Letter spacing. So this is going to add spacing between the letters. 0.8 rem. Font weight of 700. For the subtitle, we're going to use a font size of 3 rem. This highlight, we're also going to give it a font style of italic. Font weight, basically, it's not the size, but it's like um, the, the 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 stroke of the font. So bold, skinny. So as the larger the number is, the bolder it is. It is. The smaller that number is, the skinnier it gets. Okay. All right. I think that's going to be. No, I need project title. I need to add styling to those. So the project title, the font size is going to be 2 rem. And for project info, font size is going to be 1.5. And the line height is going to be 1.4. A lot of the times, like, I mean, I know right now I'm just going through this and I'm adding stuff line by line and I know what to type. A lot of times it's just messing around with the numbers and figuring out what it takes. Um, so, like, while developing this portfolio, I definitely spent a lot of time just working, tweaking each number just to make sure it looked good to me. And that's the thing about CSS. It's all about whether it looks good to you. If you don't like what I'm doing, it's fine. You can change that. So here we've added some styling to the text. Just added some font properties, some sizing, some boldness and stuff, things like that. I don't know why, but for some reason my header, uh, Let's see. Let me close all of these so I can focus on just the header for right now. Oh, I didn't give these titles. That's why I didn't give these classes. So since you guys were following me, inside the header, in the HTML under in the section of header underscore underscore content, add classes to the H1 in the paragraph of header and header title and header subtitle. And then I also have another one that I'm missing. Logo. Above the nav bar, at an H1 with your name. So mine, Dewan. I'll save that and see how it looks now. There we go. That looks a lot better. Okay. This is looking pretty good. We are obviously getting close to the time for this workshop. Um, so let's see how much we can finish within the next 20 minutes. And if not, Lazaro posted earlier, the link to the repository is in there for you guys to kind of like follow along with the CSS that I had. And I'll post the slideshow. I'll post the slide deck later on too. So this next section is a pretty important section. It has to do with box model. So basically, according to the box model, every element on the page is a rectangular box. And each element has its own height, its own padding, its own width, its own borders, and its own margins. So padding, so here's the thing. So padding is the space inside of an element. Margin is the space outside of an element, and then the border is just the border, the thing that goes around each element. So I'm going to show you how each element is a box. Very simply. So I'm going to come to styles, and I'm going to go to base, and I'm going to use the universal selector. The universal selector is a star, and I'm going to add a border, 2 pixels, just so it's thick enough for you to see, solid black. All right. So if I refresh, not that one, this one, you see that every element has a 2 pixel border around it. So you can see everything of each element. So you see these icons have a border, then the list item has a border, then the UL has a border, then the footer has a border, then main has a border. So, you can get really crazy with it. And like how you debug CSS is you use borders. I use it all the time. Like if something's not looking right, I'll just add a border 2 pixel solid black. It's like I know how to type it so easily because I've done it so many times. So if something goes wrong, you just type that and you'll see where any issues might be. That's the same if you know JavaScript, you do console.log, or Java, you do system.out.println just to see where any issues are. So that's the box model. Is Dreamweaver still? I before I came to FIU, I went to Broward College, and they would teach Dreamweaver for web development too. It's not relevant at all. I mean, of course, there. If you don't know how to code and don't really care to know how to code, you can use Dreamweaver, but I would say stay away from it. It won't get you a job. Anyway, so let's go into box model. So we're going to deal with padding and margin and try to get through that. So I can show you guys that before we have to wrap it up. Zoom is getting on my nerves, though. I despise it right now. Okay, so let's go into base, and I'm going to keep this universal selector. Um, but what I'm going to what I'm going to do inside this universal selector, if you can see, like, let me, did I save that? Let me save it, and then I'll refresh. You see we have space everywhere. Like we have this like thin line of space between each element and the end, and we have like space like that. That's annoying. So what we're going to do, this is the base. This is what you will do whenever you create any CSS file. This is what I do when I create any CSS file. I create the universal selector, then I do padding 0, margin 0, box sizing initial. This just specifies how the width and height affect a box. Right now I'm going to do initial, or no, I'm sorry, inherit. So it's going to inherit from its parent element. And then what I do inside HTML is I do box sizing padding. No, not shadow, sizing. I'm sorry, box sizing. Box sizing border box. All right. And then what I can do is to make sure that it affects all elements. I don't have to do just the universal selector, but I can also include pseudo elements like before and after. So before and after target are all target the elements before, well, not elements before it, but the space before it and the space afterwards. All right. So I'll save that. Come back up here to our portfolio, refresh, look at all this space, refresh, and it's gone. Okay. And that's what we like. I mean, well, we're going to go ahead and get into, adding spacing between the elements that we want, so that way we can control it on our own. All right. So inside the base, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do HTML, comma, body. Now I'm going to make sure that the height of these elements are 100%. So to do that, we do height 100%. And then we do min dash height 100%. Okay. And then let's go into about and start messing with the box model there. So we're going to first select about. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some padding. So we're going to add 2-point rim of padding to the top and the bottom. And then we're going to add 0 padding to the left and the right. Okay. Then we're going to select the image container. So we do dot about underscore image container. We're going to set the width to be 95%. And then the margin, the space around it is going to be 0 space auto. Okay. And then for about image, we want that to be 100%. 100%. Right? Okay. Now for title, we're going to add some padding. We're going to make this a width of 95%. We're going to add margin to the top of 2.1 rem. We're going to make the space on the left and the right side auto, so that way it's center. And then we're going to add the bottom margin of 1 rem. Subtitle, we're going to add a width of 95%. Let me copy this margin. So we're going to add a margin of 0 to the top and 2.1 rem to the bottom. All right. I'm just going to copy this part right here from my final website. So that's bio content. We're going to give it a width at 95% and a margin of 0 on auto. And for bio, we're going to give it a margin bottom of 2 rem. All right, so I'm going to save that. And then we're going to go ahead and look and see how this looks. We're going to go and see how this looks. So you see this image is very big. That's because the way I'm developing the website right now, I'm developing it to be for the mobile size first. So mobile first. So if I move this all the way over like here, that looks a little bit better. So now I should actually be able to bring this back and split screen with that. So that way I have more space to see everything. All right. I may have missed something. Hold on, let me check. So if I come to index and I scroll down to about, all the way down, about bio, where was I at? That's good. So, I mean, this is how the about section would look. And this is pretty a finalized version of the about section. Um, and unfortunately, I will not get to the rest. Um, but, you know, eventually we would have been able to add the box model to the other sections to make them look a little bit more finalized. Um, So, I mean, I am sorry, I am going to have to cut it short there because it is getting to 9 o'clock and I don't want to keep you guys here till, 12 in the morning doing CSS and HTML and a portfolio. But like I said, we're going to, if you were behind, this recording will go up on YouTube. And then we're going to go ahead and the final repository has already been shared. I'm also going to share the slides so you can finish out the rest. But I hope you guys do go ahead and develop this out and continue the portfolio. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Zara can post that again. I'll post the slide deck so you guys can view that. Share. Here's the link to the slides. There's the code again for anyone who missed it. So yeah, I mean, I thank you guys for all coming to the workshop. I'm gonna go ahead and get this uploaded to YouTube. Hope you guys do finish out the portfolio, and hopefully you guys can join us for our JavaScript workshop on the 18th.